Hey, I want to welcome everybody to the RockStar Real Estate Podcast. And so this is a show where we chart a journey from the brand new agent to becoming an industry icon. And we do this one stage at a time. I'm your host, Rick Raanes. I'm a 22-year real estate veteran. I've been a top 2% producer and the founder of the Texas Rockstar Group right here in the Woodlands, Texas. And whether you're just getting your license or you've been in the game for years, this podcast is a backstage pass to building a real estate career that doesn't just pay the bills, it rocks. So let's get into it. I've been really putting a lot of effort into some personal development and growth recently. And one of the things that's super important to me about this particular podcast is being able to share all kinds of things that have helped me become successful, the things that I've tried to avoid, the things that I didn't avoid that kind of caused some pain and heartache. A lot of things that I've been through. I want to continue to share this with you guys. And this is episode 7. We've got 6 different ones in the can already. And if you'd like to go back and visit those, I'd love for you to go back and do that. And today we are still in the second stage. So if you recall, stage 1 of the real estate business cycle is that brand new agent. Stage 2 is you've got a couple of opportunities under your belt, and now we're in the process of trying to really kind of hone in on the things that we need to do for our foundation. And so today we are going to talk about the opportunities with prospecting and where are the prospecting systems that we want to implement. And today I really want to talk about 3 pillars that I believe are super important that every agent in this stage, stage 2, needs to understand and start building right away. And number 1 is social media. Number 2 is going to be your database that includes your sphere of influence, plus some others that might have just popped in there. So database is gold. And the third thing we're going to talk about is geographic farming. I want you to be super, super locked in on being a great farmer of your particular neighborhood and community. These are 3 separate tools. They're all different, but they're all essential. And I want to break them down in a way that makes them a little bit lighter and easier for you guys to kind of comprehend. So before we get into the framework of these 3 pillars, I want to take you back for a little moment. And I want to tell you the story of how I used to market listings to attract buyers, and then getting listings from promoting the buyer needs. So part of my geographic farming back in the day was I always wanted to market my listings in a way that they were really, really attractive to finding buyers. I would post great pictures on social media. I wanted to make sure everything was very accurate when I had my listings, that the attention to the detail was really perfect. But the thing that I did really, really well is I shared all of my listings within my database. And so I would tell my database, who do you know? If you've got somebody that's looking for a property in a specific area, here's a great listing that I have. Or if I didn't have any listings, I would want to market specific properties that were either within the community I wanted to really lock in on, obviously with permission from some of the other agents. But I wanted to make sure that the people searching for properties in my neighborhood, they were able to find them at a high level. And so when I would also have a buyer, let's just say you promote a listing and the listing was a great listing, but it's not for everybody. And you attract a potential buyer. The buyer calls you and says, hey, I'm calling about this particular property. You go through the details and they say, you know what, Rick, I really appreciate it. It's probably not the house for me. Through those courses of conversations, I want to identify the property that they're looking for. Well, tell me more about what that is. Tell me more is a wonderful way to extend conversations. Tell me more about it. How is this going to impact you and your family? If you were to find what you were looking for, would you be able to buy it today? Have you spoken with a lender? All of these questions help you find the right property for this particular buyer. So then I would go to my database and I would tell my database the buyer needs for this particular buyer. And I would say, if you have this house or you know someone who does, please send me a note. Let me know. Call me. I would love to introduce myself to that particular home seller and see if this is a fit for my buyers, the ones that I've discovered from marketing the listings. All of these things have to be something that you have in the back of your mind every single day. And what this taught me is one of the biggest lessons in this business, that hope is not a prospecting strategy. You have to have a system, and the system has to have multiple parts all working together. So I want to help you kind of build out these different types of systems. So the first pillar is social media, and I want to address something right out of the gate because I hear this all the time, and people say it and they go, "Hey Rick, I posted on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and nobody called me." Well, I feel like that's because social media is not a direct response tool. It's not a classified ad. You don't post a listing and wait for the phone to ring. Social media is about creating visibility for your seller needs or your buyer needs. And quite frankly, it's a credibility tool. And if you do it correctly, it'll work over time, but it's not overnight. And I want you to think of social media as a billboard that works 24/7. So when someone that's in your network is ready to buy or sell, or they know someone who is, you want to be the agent that they think of first. So social media is what keeps you on top of mind for the times that you actually need to talk to people. And so here's what that looks like in practice for an agent who is in stage 2. You have some closings under your belt. You are selling probably, 5 to 10 homes a year, and you're actively pursuing with a full-time mission new buyers and new sellers. And I will say this: there's a high probability that you're not going to go viral. You're not trying to build a media company today. You just have to think about showing up consistently as a knowledgeable, trustworthy, and then get this, a real human being in the real estate space. AI is coming in, it's taking over, it's doing a lot of things. I'm a big fan of belly to belly. I'm a big fan of the consumer picking the right agent to help them find or sell their property. Representation of a like agent is what the consumer is looking for, someone that they can connect with. And your social media is to share the type of individual that you are so that that individual can connect with you. So, mirror match what you're trying to attract. So here are 3 types of content that actually work for new agents, and it's worked for me really, really well. Number 1 is sharing market knowledge. So you want to create short posts about what's happening in your local market. You can talk about prices, you can talk about inventory, you can talk about the interest rate. All those things are important because you don't have to be an economist. You just need to be more informed than the average agent. And that's it. You can share things about wonderful homes for sale and pick out properties that you like, that you think are great deals, and schedule appointments, call the other agent, schedule the appointment, and then go take a look at it and help market that property. The second type of content is the behind the scenes. It's very difficult to document, but if you can, remember when teachers would say, the answer to a math question, but they always say, show your work. Remember that? You'd go down and you go, okay, I know the answer to this, so I'm just going to write it down. But they wanted to see how you arrived at that particular answer. So it's the same thing in real estate. Show your work. You just went on a showing. Walk through. Say, hey, I just finished up a showing for my buyers. Here are 3 of my favorite photos from this particular property. Hey, I just showed some buyers this particular property. It had something that was pretty unique. Here are the things that I think really set this house apart. Or, hey, I've got clients looking for a lighter kitchen that's more open. This one was a little bit, had darker cabinets with darker colored countertops. If you know of somebody that's looking for this type of a property, let me know. Never put the decisions of a home seller into a negative impact because they like it, which means probably more than likely somebody else will too. And the third type of content is your story. Start telling about why you got into real estate. this is why I'm doing this podcast for, because I want to talk about the whys that put me into real estate and the hows that I did while selling real estate and what I love about it. And what I love about the real estate industry is the people. I love the friendships that are created. And what I've learned through all of this is that when you are putting content that builds a connection, that connection is what converts to clients. So be authentic, be real, and just kind of focus on those three things. And I promise you, you'll find some success. So one of the rules that I give every agent that I coach or mentor is I try to explain posting 3 times a week is a minimum. It's not 3 times a day. It's good if you can, but you got to post 3 times a week. And you got to do it consistently for 6 months. And then during that period of time, evaluate what seems to be working, what's resonating with people, what's getting more likes, what's getting more comments. And the agents that quit after 3 weeks and say social media doesn't work, well, they never gave it a real shot. The second pillar is your database. Your sphere of influence is included in your database. You probably have a ton of phone numbers and people that you've connected with through the years for various reasons that are in your phone. And I will tell you this with complete conviction, after 22 years, your database is the most valuable asset in your entire business. If you can learn how to door knock your database at a high level, I will promise you, you will have almost incredible success that you just can't imagine. Your database is gold, and it's more valuable than your actual real estate license. It's more valuable than your brand, and it's more valuable than any lead source you will ever pay for. If you're going to pay for anything, pay for the ability to connect with them at a higher level. Use your sphere of influence for client events. Use your sphere of influence to share those listings. Use your sphere of influence to share your buyer pool, the needs of a buyer, because they may know somebody that has that exact property for them. Your sphere of influence is every person who already knows you, they like you, and they trust you. They're your family, they're your friends, they're former colleagues, they're neighbors now in the past. I mean, they're just neighbors that you've been associated with. My dentist, he's a part of my sphere of influence. Your kids' coaches, they're part of your sphere of influence because they're coaching your kids. They're people that you know, people that you go to church with, people that you went to school with. All these people are your sphere of influence. Those are the ones that influence you the most. And those are the ones that you need to influence the most when buying or selling real estate. There's a book called Endless Referrals by a guy named Bob Berg. And Bob talks about the fact that every person knows on average about 250 people. So if you're a new agent and you've got 250 people in your sphere of influence or in your database, and each of those people know 250 people, you're 1 degree of separation from 62,000 potential clients. When you can discover this and you do it at a high level, it's all you need. But most people won't really dive into that. If you had an unlimited bank account and you could invite 250 people to a wedding, I'm sure you could figure out which 250 people would come. At the end of your life, if you've impacted enough people, you hope that you would have 250 people that would attend your funeral. So that 250 is a significant number because that's kind of the average. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about putting all of your people in your CRM or in your database into a CRM. You need to make sure that everybody that you have, you've got a right phone number, you've got a right email address, and it'd be great if you could have an address. And where do you find all these people? So number one, you've got them in your phone. There's a boatload of people that you know on Facebook. There's LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok now, people that you've emailed. Everybody. This is your database. And you've got multiples, but the consolidation of all this has to become very real and putting them into a CRM. The second thing I want you to do once you reach that level inside your CRM is you got to touch it. You got to touch people constantly. Your database needs to hear from you on a regular and a consistent basis, not just when you need something. So have that plan. Have a plan to reach out by phone. Have a plan to reach out by text. Have a plan to send out handwritten notes. But you got to be able to stay in touch with people. And the third thing that you really need to do with your database and while you're door knocking is you got to ask for the business. So think of it that every day, how are you promoting your business and how are you asking people, how can you help them? That's super, super important. And it's not hard to do. Simple call. Hey, I'm building my real estate business and I'd love your support. If you ever hear of anyone thinking about buying or selling, I'd really appreciate the referral. Can I send you a couple of business cards to keep in your wallet or in your purse? People love doing it, especially if they know you, love you, and trust you. They want to make sure that you're also taking care of your family. And the agents who work their sphere consistently for the first 2 years of your career, I promise you, you'll make it. You'll get past this rough stage. You'll get past stage 2 and you'll jump into stage 3. And you've got to treat this like a job. Every single day, you have to come in with a game plan on your schedule, creating the right calendar, and you've got to time block the ability to door knock your database. And the ones who ignore it and chase cold leads, they almost always struggle because those people don't know you, they don't love you, and they don't trust you yet. The third pillar is going to be the geographic farming, and this one is the longer game. You can geographic farm inside your database, inside your CRM with tags, but I'm talking about the people that are in your CRM typically are people that already know you. People that are in the geographic farm are people that are your unmets. They're the people that you don't know. You just know there's rooftops there and you want them to interact with you somehow. So the geographic farm means it's picking a specific neighborhood or subdivision, and you want to become the real estate expert for that area. And by doing that, you have to market to it on a consistent level. You have to track the sales data. I mean, you got to know how many current listings are in there, how many pending properties are at any given time, and you got to know how many people have sold their homes in that particular area in the last 6 months or even a year. And you do this by becoming the face of real estate in that particular community. And here's why that works. Because people want to work with agents who know their neighborhood. So I've gone on many, many listing appointments and met with people, and I talk about marketing strategies and how we're going to do things online. And they'll always come back, how well do you know the area? Have you lived here? Do you know someone else that's here? Can you give me statistics on what your past experience has been? People want to know that you're successful in that particular area. But let's just say you haven't sold anything in there yet. You got to blow them away with data. You got to be able to stress to them, here's why you want to hire me. I know how many active listings there are today. I know what your competition looks like. I know how many solds there are. I know why we can get X number of dollars for your property. I know how to market your property to people outside the neighborhood so that they will come inside the neighborhood to see your home. And this is where it's super, super important that you have market knowledge. So if you don't live there, you got to at least be able to explain all the great reasons why they want to hire you. So I want you to pick one farm, not 5 or 10. I want you to barrel this down to one farm with about 200 to 500 rooftops. And you want this to be an area that you generally like. It's got turnover, meaning you can go back and see that the turnover in this particular community can support your real estate business. And the way you pick this out is you go and you say, okay, if there are 100 homes, I want to know that 5 to 7 of those properties are selling every single year. That's what you call a turnover rate. So if you've got 500 folks, you've got 25 to 35 homes a year that you could possibly have access to. And that's significant because remember, the number of listings will help you also find your buyers. So when you're farming, you want to commit to 12 months of marketing. Very, very minimum. People say, well, I'm going to go pick a farm. They send a couple letters. Hey, this didn't work. I'm going to go pick a different farm. They send a couple letters. Well, that farm didn't work. I'm going to go pick a different one. You have to establish yourself, and that takes a long, long time. 12 months at a very, very minimum. And it doesn't work sending 2, quitting. The magic number for this is about 6 to 9. This is when people start recognizing your material. They'll start recognizing your name. And if they've got questions, they're going to start reaching out to you a lot more. They'll follow you on social media first So part of your marketing to them has to be follow me within all of your social media connections. Touch it monthly. If you can, go door knock. A lot of people don't like doing that. Door knocking. Hey, my name is Rick. I'm a neighbor in the community. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm a real estate agent. Here's a QR code. This is where you can follow me. Join a Facebook group that I have. This is where you're going to find all the information about the values, the homes that are currently on the market, the ones that are sold. If you'd like to track your data, let me know. I'd happy to send these to you. So door knocking actually can be a very, very valuable piece. But farming requires an upfront investment because you've got to be able to print letters or buy flyers or buy the mailers. Takes time and money. It's not the fastest place to grow your real estate business, but it's one that will create long-term success. So huge thing. So before we get too deep into the next level, I want to take a moment and tell you about one of our business partners. And this is a company that I've recently partnered with. I genuinely believe in it, and it's one that is going to directly become relevant to everything that we just talked about. So I want to tell you a little bit about a new company. It's called Living In. And if you're a real estate agent who wants to become the go-to local expert in your market, you need to know about this platform. Living In, LIVIN.in. Living In helps agents become what we are going to be calling the local market mayor. And they work with you to bring in local vendors, businesses in your community who partner with you for better advertising. There's stronger referrals, and there's content that will position you as the face of your neighborhood. So this farming becomes very important. You're not just a real estate agent, you become the local expert. I want you to say that many times. I'm not a local real estate agent, I'm a local expert. And the more you know, the more you can share. So we just talked about geographic farming and social media content. Living In is the platform that ties both of these together, and they give you a real infrastructure to execute on. So if you want to own your market, not just work in it, this is worth your attention. And I want you to go check out my new page. It's Living In, LIVIN.in, and it's / the Woodlands, Texas. That's LIVIN.in / the Woodlands, Texas. And I want you to click on there. And when you want to talk to them, I want you to reach out to me. The Rockstar sent you over to livin.in. I love this, and it's going to become very successful, and it's going to help a lot of people sell a lot of real estate. So let's pull it all together here. So social media works on the widest of audiences. It's everyone who follows you, everyone who might stumble on your content. Think of it as broadcasting a vast and a huge net. The database works on the people who already know you. They've had some type of contact with you. Those are warm relationships. They just need nurturing, consistent nurturing, and it's the highest conversion lead source you have. Now, the geographic farming works on a specific geography, and these are strangers. These are the unmets who you hope to become familiar with. And remember that familiarity becomes trusted, and it's a long game, and it's something that will provide a lot of opportunity for you if you just stick with it. So all these things blended together, they cover 3 completely different audiences. And when these 3 are running, even if it's imperfect at first, you've got a prospecting system that doesn't depend on any single source. You're not one algorithm change away from losing your leads. You're not one slow referral month from a panic position. Talked to somebody the other day. They're like, man, I was crushing this one thing, and all of a sudden the business shut down, and so they lost all their lead flow, and their business suffered from it. So we want to build something that is consistent for long-term development. And this is exactly what a stage 2 agent is building. You're not just working on the deals, you're working on the foundation and the system that will deliver the deals long-term. Massive action beats perfect planning all day long. My friend Brian Matheson's talked about this forever. Massive action beats perfect planning all day long. So if you're 90 days into real estate, I want you to start with your database. It costs you nothing. It's the highest converting source that you have, and I want you to work it every single week. Add social media next. 3 posts a week, market knowledge, behind the scenes, your story. I want you to keep it really, really simple. And then I want you to start researching your farm, and I want you to pick a neighborhood. I want you to learn the data, and you don't have to launch a full campaign tomorrow, but I just want you to know that this is where the seeds that we're going to plant. So we want to build the systems in layers, and each layer will compound on the last. So here's kind of where we are, and something I want to tell you a little bit deeper into those 250 people. And part of why you're having fun in this next little bit of time is I want you to think about 50 people that if you narrow that down, like who would be your top core 50 people. And if you will call those 50 people, and they don't even have to be in your local market. It's better if they are, but if they're not, that's okay. But what you want to do is be able to call those 50 core, invite them to lunch, and you want to ask them some serious questions about the last real estate transaction. Did they like it? Did they enjoy their agent? Did their agent do a great job? Would they hire their agent again? What do they love about the transaction? What do they not like about the transaction? And at the end of the day, when they're making their next decision to make a move, would they interview you for the process? And I promise you, it's a fantastic way to build those relationships at a much, much deeper level. So every episode, I want to leave you with one principle, and this is it. Leads don't come from luck. They come from systems. If you build 3 systems and work them all and trust the process, success will follow. And the agents who are still in this business 5 years from now, they're not just getting lucky. They've worked hard. The harder they work, the luckier they get. Agents who are successful build systems when nobody's watching, and they work these systems when they didn't even feel like it. So that's episode 7 of the RockStar Real Estate Roadmap podcast. This is stage 2 that we call the first set. I love the kind of the analogies behind the bands that are created and the success that they've had. Not every band sells a lot of records, but there are a lot of bands that have sold a lot of records. So we've now covered your schedule and a prospecting system, and the foundation is being built. Episode 8 is coming, and we're going to talk about something that makes a lot of new agents uncomfortable, and that's the scripts and dialogues and how to talk to people, what to say when someone asks, why should I use you? What do you say when a lead goes cold, and how to ask for business without feeling like you're begging for it. That's going to be a good one. You don't want to miss out. So just remember, if today's episode gives you clarity on where your leads are supposed to come from, I want you to share it. Send it to an agent in your office who's struggling to find their footing. That's how we build this community. And I want you to come find me at therockstarroadmap.com. It's live, it's functional, got a lot of great things on there. You'll love it. That's where you can connect. You can book a one-on-one with me, and I'd love to go deeper on everything that we talk about here. And remember, that's therockstarroadmap.com. So thank you for being here. Go and work your database, post your content, pick your pick your, not your family, pick your farm. They're out there, and I want you to go get them. So have a great day. And remember, as always, let's prosper together. Be good.